Do you want to play a game? Podcast.
They're here.
Happy holidays, and welcome to a special Christmas episode of Blood, Gore, and Ghouls horror movie podcast. I'm your host, Ian Van Gogh. Joining me today is my ride or die, the Sally to my Jack, the Santa to my Krampus, the Ellen to my Clark, and the leg lamp to my old man. Please welcome back to the show, Mrs. Ghoul herself, my wonderful wife, Erin.
Get over here!
Ooh.
My wife.
Flawless victory.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just for you.
I loved it.
What's up, babe?
Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
It's Christmas.
here it is.
And we're never ready.
No,
Mm-mm.
yet again, it doesn't feel like Christmas.
55 degrees today.
Yeah.
It was Christmas in Florida.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't like that cold shit.
I'd like to have a Bing Crosby Christmas. Give me some white Christmas.
Nah.
Meh.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, whatever.
Maybe not. Fine with it.
Tomorrow would be nice. Then we wouldn't have to go anywhere.
Oh, true.
See?
Yeah.
Mm.
Then it sticks around forever.
Yeah, whatever.
If it just snowed tomorrow and then it melted by the next day, be fine with
It'd
it.
be all right.
But not here. So what's new? What's going on since the last time you were on? Halloween.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, what was the last holiday I was on? Halloween. Well, not much. It turned right into Christmas, and that's really what happens. The end.
The end.
Yeah.
Clean to Christmas.
Yeah.
Done
you
with
just
it.
Dive right in, and it just never ends until 3 o'clock on Christmas morning.
Yes.
About 2 hours later, and Santa came.
Mm-hmm.
Santa, I know him.
Yep. The joys of Christmas morning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's not a whole lot in the horror movie news for this week, other than another hit to Scream 7. So Christopher Landon has exited Scream 7 as director. So Bloody Disgusting reported on this, and it says, the hits keep coming on Scream 7. Weeks after Melissa Barrera was let go from the upcoming sequel, followed close behind by news that Jenna Ortega had also left, director Christopher Landon announced via Twitter that he formally exited the project weeks ago. So the filmmaker said, quote, "I guess now is as good a time as any to announce I formally exited Scream 7 weeks ago. This will disappoint some and delight others. It was a dream job that turned into a nightmare, and my heart did break for everyone involved, everyone. But it's time to move on. I have nothing more to add to the conversation other than I hope Wes's legacy thrives and lifts above the din of a divided world. What he and Kevin created is something amazing, and I was honored to have even the briefest moment basking in their glow." So yeah, we've lost both leads, now the director. I think it's time to just let Scream 7 go. Cause yeah, at this point, I don't think anything good's gonna come out of it. So of course, any further news or updates, let you guys know. But right now, it's not looking good. It wasn't looking good before. Now it's looking even worse. So for our main topic is, of course, Christmas movies. You're not as versed in the horror movies of Christmas.
No.
So I figured I'd list off some of my favorite Christmas horror movies. But what are some of your just favorites holiday movies?
Like non-horror.
Yeah,
just-
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, Christmas Vacation is probably top of my list because it was funny as a kid,
Mhm.
and now it's even funnier that I'm like, I can totally relate to Clark and how he feels, minus a Christmas bonus because what the hell's that? But it's still just funny, and I love it. Like, one of my favorite moments is when he's trapped in the attic, and then they come home, and his wife pulls the cord, and he's just like, just because he's like all sentimental watching the family videos. But what always got me in that scene, or prior to how he gets trapped in the attic, is the
Right.
grandma just was like, "Oh, where's that cold draft coming from?" And then comes out to the hall, and it's a pull down attic ladder, like, and she's just like, Nobody's in
Yeah.
there. Like, it
Someone
doesn't
just left this
fucking
down.
drop down by itself. Like, wouldn't you at least be like, hey, is anybody up there?
Right.
Nope. She's like, fuck you, Clark.
Yep.
The way she goes. But
I always got a kick out of the fact that he has the whole attic to sit somewhere, and he sits
Right on the door.
right on the door.
Yep. Yep. I'm like, oh shit. And finding the old presents, like past presents that he
Mhm.
forgot about. That would totally be me if it wasn't in
Right.
front of my face. Um, I I obviously like White Christmas. That's like a classic family one that, for no good reason. There's nothing really about it. I mean, I like the dancing and the singing. And they don't make movies. Like they make musicals, but they don't make them in that format anymore. So it's just one of those classical. And there's so many people, like you could remake this and make them dance. And there's talent out there that can absolutely do it. But I digress. Um, I like A Christmas Story, another family classic.
Right.
24 hours of A Christmas Story. Yes, please. And but I don't know. I go through like cycles of them all. I'll happily put on Hallmark and just watch the cheesiest. I already know what's going to
That's
happen.
true. You're into all that shit.
Yeah, like I can just be like, whatever. And I already know what's going to happen, but I'll still watch it. I don't care. But then there's like the other ones, like Everybody Loves Elf, and it's hilarious, but at the same time, it's not the top of my list.
Mhm.
Like we were just talking about prior to this, Home Alone's one of the other ones. I'm like, it's a classic, but it's not like, gee, I need to watch Home Alone because we're at Christmas time. Like, if I don't watch it for 3 years, I'm not upset with myself by any
Yeah.
means.
Right.
And I'll still be able to quote it,
True.
So, yeah, those are, I guess, top 3 for me with a sprinkle of some classics.
For sure.
You know.
Yeah, we'll get into some of those movies here in a bit.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Went down the Reddit rabbit hole myself on this. So,
Open up that can of worms.
yeah. Oh, I would say, actually, my number 1 is probably The Grinch, like the 30-minute classic
Oh, yeah,
cartoon.
the OG.
Yeah, like follow it along with the book. I love the Jim Carrey one too. Like it is really good. And I like the one that Benedict Cumberbatch is the voice of the Grinch.
Right.
And that's a whole like separate storyline
Mhm.
too. And then Keenan Thompson does the voice of that neighbor guy, and
Mhm.
he's really funny in that one. I like it a lot. So
Yeah,
I'm
the
just a Grinch person.
Grinch is one that like every iteration of it is pretty good.
Yeah. There's nothing I dislike about any of
Mhm.
them really, and I like all of them, even though they're all extended storylines from the original. But I mean, I just love the Grinch. He seems to be a pretty big hit this year, like in the stores for decor.
Right.
I noticed. I'm like, he's everywhere this year.
Yeah.
And I was at Walmart and they had a stocking that was like as big as I was, and it was just fuzzy, and it was all the Grinch, and I was like, what the hell would you do with that? Like, I mean,
Hop in it.
I guess do the sack race like in the live action.
Yeah, speaking of the Grinch, this is now the second Christmas that I have yet to see the main one, the horror version
Oh,
of
I
the Grinch.
forgot about that.
I was hoping it'd be streaming this year, but it's not, and I wasn't going to pay like $15+
Yeah.
for it, because from what I've heard, it's not great. But I want to see it, so hopefully by next year,
Yeah.
I'll be able to check it out. But yeah, so I have like my top 5 Christmas horror movies. Number 5 came out last year. It's Christmas Bloody Christmas. It's from Shudder.
Never saw that one.
It is. It's a ridiculous movie. It's not a good movie, but I really enjoyed it. So it's essentially Terminator.
Oh.
It's an animatronic Santa
Mm-hmm.
that comes to life and then goes on
Oh.
a killing spree.
It's Five Nights at Freddy's Christmas edition.
Yeah, a little bloodier, a little gorier.
Well,
But yeah, it was a fun time. I really enjoyed it last year. Number 4 is Krampus.
I've seen that one.
Yes, you have. That one I didn't like the first time we watched it,
Okay.
but it was just because of Michael Dougherty is the director, and he's the one that created Trick or Treat.
Oh, yeah.
So, and Trick or Treat is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I was expecting kind of the same, like not the same story or anything, obviously, but like the same greatness,
Like, yeah. Flow.
in Christmas form, and it wasn't quite that.
Yeah.
First of all, it's PG-13, so they couldn't do the bloody,
Right.
gory stuff. But now I've watched it, about once a year since then, and each year it does grow on me.
Okay.
So I did review it last year for the 25 days of Christmas horror, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I think the most that watch. So yeah, it's I think once I kind of got over the mindset that it wasn't going to be Trick or Treat
Yeah.
or as epic, it's just a fun time.
Right.
And watching all these movies for my 25 days of Christmas horror reviews. Now, this is the second year. There's a lot of shitty ones.
Oh,
So,
I'm positive. It's about as like spew them out like a Hallmark movie with horror version.
yeah. There's a lot out there that
They
aren't
need
good.
to make a channel called Horror Mark and just
Yeah.
spit out Christmas movies, horror style.
Just horror style. Number 3, Violent Night.
Would you consider that a horror?
It's
not horror.
It's not
but
horror,
it's like,
but
it's bloody.
yeah.
But it's more like thrillery, if you will.
It's more kind of action thriller, but it is one of the labels is horror. So I included it.
It's so good.
But yeah, I mean, it has the brutality and the blood and the gore of a horror movie,
and it has decent actors in it, so it's not like total shit. I loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
I loved it.
I really, really liked it.
You're welcome on that.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, David Harbour is Santa.
Yeah, and John Leguizamo is the bad guy.
Oh yeah. Which I mean, he's always great as a bad guy, but
but that's what I'm saying. Like
David Harbour, I feel like he was made for Santa.
Yeah. It was like he was made for Hop and made for Santa. Like, but I saw a lot of the same characteristics in Santa and Hop. Like,
and Hopper, yeah.
Like the good guy that's jaded.
Right.
There's that without any spoilers.
Yeah.
But it was so good. I loved it.
Yeah, it was just a really fun, gory time.
And the backstory of Santa's really, really neat. And,
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it was good.
I liked it.
Number 2 is a Christmas horror story.
Don't know that
one. That is a anthology movie.
Okay.
Starring William Shatner.
Oh.
The William Shatner.
No wonder it's so good.
Yeah, right.
Does he wear the Michael Myers mask at all?
I mean, he has a natural Michael Myers mask
right.
that he wears at all times. But it's an anthology. It's kind of lower budget, but it's a lot of fun. I forget how many. I think there's like 4 or 5 different stories, but I always enjoyed that one.
So when you say there's the stories, is it set up kind of like how Trick or Treat is?
Yeah, that's an anthology as well. Yeah,
like there's the multiple stories within the one movie type deal.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and this one, I'd say it's closer to Trick or Treat than other anthologies, because a lot of anthologies is just like 4 or 5 stories that aren't connected.
Yeah. But that's what I
like
meant
Creep
by
Show.
that. Like,
Creep Show. Tales from the
they're
Crypt,
all
stuff
connected
like
in Trick or Treat. These are all kind of connected.
Yeah, this
together
one's
too.
not all of them are connected, but like usually there's the kind of what the hell is it called? The wraparound story. And so yeah, there's 1 or 2 that are connected to the kind of wraparound story.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a good time though. I really enjoy it. And then number 1 is Black Christmas,
which I've definitely seen that one.
Yes.
And we're talking OG.
Oh, absolutely OG.
None of
Bob
that
Clark's
remix.
Black Christmas.
I like that one too.
What?
Black Christmas.
Yeah. Oh,
I was
okay.
saying,
Yeah.
I liked that one.
Okay. Yeah. No, that one's it's so good.
It is.
There's
I mean,
really, like, there's not a whole lot of like blood or gore.
More suspenseful than anything, but
it's so good.
It's still, though, for me, I'm one of those people that I like a wrap up ending, and it doesn't give you that, and it's meant not to give you that,
Yeah,
and
right.
it's still always like that, like, what is the
Right.
true answer? And you'll never know. So
Well, we might find out here in a bit.
oh,
There
maybe
might be a little something about
there might be
this.
some theories.
Little
We'll find
theories, yeah, I
out,
know.
but like, there's no true,
No, there's not.
true, real for reals,
Right.
as real as Santa Claus ending.
True. But yeah, there is a theory outside of our holiday theories here that so Bob Clark made Black Christmas, and then he I forget the actual facts of it, but one way or the other he spoke to John Carpenter and was talking about making a sequel that was at Halloween.
Oh, okay.
And then John Carpenter went and made Halloween.
Okay.
So, in another universe, Halloween could potentially be a sequel to Black Christmas
So it's Michael Myers all the time.
all the time.
William
Yeah, I
Shatner's
mean,
face.
it wouldn't make sense because Michael was in an institution from like
I
6
mean-
to 18.
Unless he broke out before that once.
Yeah, just on a holiday.
Just one time. I mean,
Just
it
broke out for Christmas.
probably less staff over Christmas. So maybe he did, you know?
Maybe he did.
We could really inch our way through this
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and make it happen.
for sure. But yeah, so we our kind of main topic here is the holiday fan theories. So all these are, regular kind of family Christmas movies, many of which we have brought up already. But there's pretty popular fan theories for these movies. So I put a list together here. So we're gonna go over them and see kind of what we think about it. Which ones could be possible? Which ones probably not so much.
Yeah.
And then we'll see. There's a lot of kind of horror aspects to some of these too. So I thought it'd be a cool time for the show. And it would be a good for us to talk about since you're not overly knowledgeable in the Christmas horror aspect.
Yeah. Well,
So we could bring our
I know something.
our things together.
I know a thing or two.
We could
about a
bring
thing
our
or
things
two.
together. And,
Ooh.
yeah.
Touching things.
See what kind of show that makes. So the first one here is Elf.
Mhm.
So the theory suggests that Buddy is a total creep who intended on watching Jovi in the shower instead of it being an accidental situation. The version of him also, quote, brutally injures multiple children on the way home from school in the snowball fight and uses his obsession with syrup to get horribly shit-faced on the job and uses his so-called innocence to verbally abuse a man, the man being Miles Finch. So what do you think about that one?
I mean, I get it. Like I've read a lot of these too, and I mean, I get where they're saying like, oh, if you look in the beginning, how they showcase Buddy being bigger than all the other elves, and he's in the shower naked, and then he plays it innocent with Jovi
Mhm.
when she's in the shower. But I still think at the same time he is just like a 10-year-old
Yeah.
in the brain.
Right.
Like he's just a oversized 10-year-old, and it wasn't meant to be anything more than that. And it being people don't have the Christmas spirit, and we find the Christmas spirit, and there's not really anything to dig onto that. He was raised with a bunch of elves. He's
Yeah.
like a perpetual 10-year-old.
Yeah, I feel the same way. This one was kind of like, I'm not
Stretch.
buying
It was a
that one.
stretch.
Because like if he like the whole shower thing,
Yeah.
like he's not peeking. at
No,
her.
he's not like
he's off to the side where he couldn't even
Yeah.
get a glimpse if he
no.
wanted to.
He just wanted to sing with somebody because
Yeah.
he's like a 10-year-old that it misses home.
But yeah, this one's a stretch. Because I mean,
Other
the
than
snowball
he
fight.
probably did injure some children in the snowball
yeah,
fight,
yeah,
but
yeah.
not like I'm gonna plow you right now. I'm
Right.
sending you to the ER, bitch. Let's
Right.
go.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, then that'd be the same theory as a 12-year-old who's much taller and bigger than other
like
12-year-olds.
the Pee Wee football games when they're asking for birth certificates, like, oh, that kid's not 12. Like the fuck he isn't. He's
Yeah,
just
right.
5'9". I can't help it.
Yeah.
Like
Yep. So yeah, Elf, I'm not buying it.
no.
Let's see the next one here, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So the fan theory suggests that Max the dog became friends with the Grinch because he was an unwanted Christmas gift. The story indicates that someone sent him to the dump on Mount Crumpet, where the Grinch lived with other unwanted holiday gifts, and that's where the two met and became friends.
So you could use this theory for the live action, and that's it.
Okay.
Because you don't dump it to Crumpet in the original. There's no dump indicated. That's just
true,
where the
yeah.
Grinch lives is
Yep.
Mount Crumpet that's above Whoville. So you could only use this theory, but Max existed already in the original. So I always kind of went with Max was just a lost dog that found his way to the top of Mount Crumpet because that's what dogs do.
True.
But in live action terms, sure. Yeah, I could believe it because you dumped it to Crumpet. One
Yeah.
way or the other. You could go both ways. Grinch had the power because he does it with Cindy Lou at the door and he throws her back down to Whoville. So, sure.
Sure.
But
I'm still not buying it.
no, I mean, like, sure, but I don't think a Who would do that either.
Who done it?
Who done it?
Nah.
Nah. I read another one on the Grinch, though, and it was that Santa Claus, because he's, all seeing, naughty
Mhm.
and nice, that he already knew that the Grinch was going to steal Christmas and let him so that he could grow as the Grinch to,
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I guess, I don't know, Santa could see the future that he was going to give it back, but I guess he was hoping for
Hoping for the best.
he was going to
Fingers
turn
crossed.
good, That was another one. I was like, oh, well, probably not. But because, when they were explaining this one too, they were like, well, the Grinch was planning it. I'm like, no, it's Christmas Eve and he must stop Christmas from coming. But how? He does it in like a matter of hours. He
Right.
makes the suit, builds the sleigh, and goes. So Santa was not going to be able to see him when he was already out delivering gifts. Like, that man is
Yeah.
busy. The fuck are you talking about? This wasn't a week-long process here.
No. Yeah. Some of these fans are dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So fan theories.
Yeah.
I like thinking that Jack and Zero are the Grinch and Max in the afterlife.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, I haven't, like, it wasn't one that I came across, but there's an artist I follow, and I can't think of which one it is on Instagram. But he always does mashups of different
Okay.
things, and one of his Christmas ones is the Grinch and Max,
Mhm.
and then it like kind of they dissolve or
Over
decay,
into Jack
and it becomes Jack and Zero,
Okay.
and then like they fit perfectly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that's
Except
cool.
for Jack's not a mean guy at all. But we're
No,
talking
no.
like
But it could be after
Grinch after Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of Nightmare Before Christmas, one theory suggests that all our favorite characters are simply reanimated corpses. So a Reddit user explained it only made sense that the characters in Halloween Town are either people who died or monsters who have all been forced to work in the afterlife. Another suggested that Sally was dismembered for being a witch, which is why she's a rag doll in her afterlife, with all her limbs stitched together. Meanwhile, others were convinced that Jack Skellington is a Celtic demon.
I read this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's Halloween. Like,
Sure.
they're all...
I mean, it would make sense in a way with Sally because she is the only like doll
Mhm.
that's like living.
Right.
But at the same time, we're also incredibly aware that she was made by Dr. Finkelstein, like
Right.
from scratch. So she came to that world, like she was made within that world.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of like, no, she probably was not a witch because she didn't really have a post life,
Mhm.
like, or post afterlife life living on this earth.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
she could have. I mean, maybe he stole a soul from somebody. It doesn't really explain, but she was completely built by him to be basically a slave. So
Right.
I kind of scratched that one off. But the Celtic demon that they refer to with Jack is possible. I mean, he's like basically just our version of death now. So skeleton in a fancy
Mhm.
suit.
True.
So sure. And I read
But
it
yeah, I mean,
like in that rabbit hole of just how the three big movies, Frank and Weenie, Corpse Bride, and Nightmare, they're all the same universe. And if you notice, Victor is in Frank and Weenie, Victor, and then obviously the next one, Corpse Bride, Victor, and Jack kind of do have that similar face.
okay.
So they think that Victor is Jack, and then the dogs' names change between Frank and Weenie to Corpse Bride, but then they think maybe Victor changed it in his memories, but then he becomes Zero, which makes sense.
I like that.
Yeah, that was a cool
Yeah, that
rabbit hole.
That one's better than these other ones.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah, I like that one too.
So here's our first of Home Alone. There's numerous Home Alone ones. This, of course, is probably the most popular one. So over the years, fans have been running with the idea that Kevin McAllister from Home Alone is Jigsaw from Saw. The spooky theory originated from Grantland and is based on the similarities between the impressive and elaborate pranks Kevin sets up and tortures from Saw. Kevin also shows a strange interest in his neighbor, who is rumored to be a serial killer. Could it mean he wants to follow in his footsteps? Plus, Jigsaw is a blonde man with blue eyes, just like Kevin. So, I hate this theory.
It's a pretty big
so
stretch
much,
for me.
So much.
Pretty big stretch
Like,
for
if
me.
Home Alone came out in, like, the 50s, then yeah, sure, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But, like, Home Alone's 1990. It's pretty modern.
Yeah.
And Saw came out in 2004. And there's, like, a 50 plus year age gap. So, I just hate it.
Yeah, it's too much of a stretch for me.
It really is. Like, the only thing they have in common, like, it says blonde hair and blue eyes. Sure.
Yeah.
But, like, the traps. But, like, one is an elaborate, like, mechanical death traps. And the other one, he's setting up Matchbox cars on the stairs. And
Now, do you have it down later about him imagining it
not for
in a way?
Home Alone.
Okay. So another rabbit hole on Reddit I went down was that basically what we're watching is the exaggerated version that's in Kevin's memory.
Oh, okay.
'Cause, like, and you can see it in times like when we're watching the whole "look what you did, you little jerk," like that whole pizza scene.
Yeah.
When he talks about it later, he exaggerates it a bit.
Okay.
Like, yeah, everybody was mad, but it gets exaggerated. There's a couple other like particular examples that you could see he exaggerated. So they're basically saying that we're watching out of his own memory the exaggerated version.
I could see that.
So like when he steals the toothbrush, the cops probably didn't chase after him, especially because they were mid writing a ticket. They didn't just stop for a $3 toothbrush.
Right.
So in his mind, it's exaggerated. They ran after him, but really they were like, whatever. It's like, hey, kid, stop. And then he just kept going. And so a good set example on this is that he terrorizes the wet bandits. And then the cops fucking show up and the whole house is clean. Like it's spotless when they get there.
Right.
So where's your feathers? Where's your broken ornaments? Where's the tar? Where's all that kind of stuff? And so again, it's like he probably was hiding under his bed and imagining like, oh, this is everything I would have done. But the neighbor likely saw them trying to break in and called the cops, and the cops showed up. And he's hiding under his bed. And I'm like, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, especially for like a 7-year-old that's already probably scared shitless because he's home alone.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm like, I could go with that theory that,
Yeah, that one's way better too.
Yeah.
For sure. So speaking of imaginary, Jingle All the Way. So did the stress of buying the toy of the year lead Arnold Schwarzenegger's character Howard Langston having a breakdown? Reddit users seem convinced and put reasoning down to why Howard only appeared to see his arch rival Myron, played by Sinbad, in his most pressurized moment, because he has seemingly lost a grip on reality, and Myron is his negative manifestation.
I can't tell you the last time I watched this movie.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Not even I know that it has that cult following too. I probably was like 8 the last time I watched this movie. It's just, I'm not an Arnold person either, so.
Blasphemy.
So I can't give too much because honestly, it is a very foggy memory of this movie. I should watch it.
I don't even remember the last time I watched it either. I mean, I was older than 8, but it was one I've never been too much of a fan of it.
No, I mean, maybe I was older than 8. That was a Kevin McAllister exaggeration here, but yeah, I truly can't remember anything that happened, but I'm sure it is stressful. I've watched those Black Friday Cabbage Patch Kids videos, and like that could throw anybody off the deep end. Like, see ya, here's your fucking toy.
Yeah. So I don't remember. I don't know. I mean, Sinbad definitely pops up on it quite a bit, but I mean, I guess it could be. He could be manifesting them.
Sure.
Maybe.
It'd be cool to manifest Sinbad.
Like Kazam. Sinbad in his prime, though.
Yeah. And then sit here and argue that he definitely was in a movie called Kazam.
Kazam. No. Was it? No, Shazam.
Shazam, sorry.
Kazam.
Was the Shaquille O'Neal.
The Shaq one, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Shazam.
Whatever.
Does it exist?
I don't know.
Neither do I. Frosty the Snowman.
There's no conspiracy with Frosty.
Well, let's find out.
I don't agree.
So one YouTuber believes Frosty the Snowman is actually a demon.
Instant disagree.
Demon. Created by naughty children. Apparently the children even use dark magic to bring the evil spirit to life. If you listen closely to the classic song depicting the snowman's birthday, this theory will start to give you the chills. But that's it. That's all it says.
What? What birthday song?
Well, his birthday when they sing and they bring him to life.
Bring me back to life, blah blah.
I don't know. They're summoning the Frosty demon.
No.
It's a demon,
not.
so I approve of this.
It's
Frosty's
not a demon. It sings happy birthday when he puts a hat on. Oh yeah, that's real scary.
Demons.
No, he has a magic hat from that stupid magician.
Who's
So the-
also a demon.
Well, the kids wouldn't be the ones that summoned him with dark magic.
He's
it
a
would
demon?
be
That's
the
it.
magician in the first place. So let's get your facts straight here, YouTuber.
Wow. Yeah, it
Jeez.
doesn't say who the YouTuber is. Demon.
False. I don't like that one. Next.
I like it.
I don't.
Home Alone number 2.
Oh.
Not the sequel, but the second theory for
What
Home
you
Alone.
did, you little jerk.
So a creative theory claims Uncle Frank is behind the criminal activity in Home Alone and wants to make Kevin's life a living hell. He clearly hates his brother, Pete's family, because he refuses to contribute towards the massive $122 bill for the pizza. He also clearly hates Kevin, seeing as he calls him a little jerk. And in a deleted scene, we see how much Frank really hates Kevin, even more than we first thought. Which again, it doesn't elaborate, so I'm not sure what that deleted scene is. But is it enough to suggest he called his mates Harry and Marv, telling them to go rob the house and to harm Kevin while they're at it, if need be? So I like half of this theory. I like to think like maybe he's behind it.
Sure.
But like to hurt Kevin, like he would have to know that Kevin was going to get left behind.
Yeah, you'd have to
And then-
absolutely bank on it.
Right. Or make a call from what, the airport. So,
Yeah.
but I do like the fact like they're all going on this giant family vacation, and Uncle Frank calls in his buddies.
Yeah, I
Harry and
mean, like
Marv.
that piece, he could be
I
saying,
do like that.
hey, rob my brother because he's not going to be here.
Yeah.
Sure. But knowing that Kevin's going to be there is whatever. I
Yeah.
think he's probably Uncle Frank's just a jackass. And I wouldn't even say like reason number one, clearly he hates his brother because he didn't pay $122 bill. Well, no, he could just be a cheapskate. Like,
Yeah, true. Yeah, that would, yeah,
there's no hate in your heart for being like, I'm not paying that. My brother's rich. Well,
right.
But
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a motive at all, but
No.
but
it's still probable you can be like, yo, let's crash in on
Yeah,
this because
right.
I know my brother's got a lot of money and there's lots of shitty family members like that in the
have
world.
we ever found out what their parents do to afford all
Mm,
these
well,
luxurious things?
It was a different time, so that house
It
back then was
was.
probably like $150,000, and now it's like $12 million. So who knows?
I mean, it's still, even for the time though, it's still a giant house.
Oh yeah, but they cost like a fraction of the price.
Well, yeah. It's still a question out there though. So another one for Home Alone.
Don't
So
roll your chair.
this is the one that's incorporated into Black Christmas. So Buzz tells Kevin an urban legend of Old Man Marley down the street being a serial killer who murdered his family with a shovel in 1959. So Home Alone presumably takes place somewhere in the 1980s or 1990s, while Black Christmas presumably takes place in the year of its release in 1974. So a theory is that Marley from Home Alone is actually the father of Claire from Black Christmas. After the events of the first movie, Jess was murdered by Billy, the shovel killer who murdered his parents with a shovel after an incident on Christmas 1959. Afterwards, he was arrested and put in asylum before escaping in 1974 and went on a killing spree. However, after the events of Black Christmas, Marley finds out about the death of his daughter, and a major split happens in his relationship with his son due to Claire's death. Billy is never caught, and Marley becomes the prime suspect of having murdered his own daughter and the other sorority girls. In Home Alone, Marley is reunited with his son and meets his granddaughter, now finally able to enjoy Christmas and go on from the events that happened all those years ago. So this is saying that the old man Marley, is a parent of one of the victims from Black Christmas.
Yeah.
I
He
like
got
it.
accused of like the murder for a while,
Yeah.
but it clearly wasn't him or something. I don't know,
Right.
but sure.
I like
I mean,
that one.
you could roll with that. There's nothing telling you no, and there's nothing deep about it to
Mhm.
say definitely that or definitely not that. Sure,
Yeah.
I can buy it.
And if so, though, where's Billy? Because he could have taken out Kevin.
Oh,
Billy's in the
definitely.
walls.
It's possible.
So, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So, this is the Jim Carrey Grinch. So, in the 2000s, Whoville is located on a cold snowflake. The question, though, is how do they eat? So, they can't really import food from anywhere because they live on a snowflake. The thought is that they either have indoor grows and indoor barns for meats, They have special crops that survive the harsh conditions. But the other dark theory is that they eat each other for meat. So are the Who's cannibals?
So is this something you came up with yourself?
No.
Or one you found?
This
Okay.
was another one. I didn't come up
Well,
with any of them.
they're stupid because
Aw.
you should know from Horton Hears a Who, they're on the little flower
Mm-hmm.
in Whoville still,
Well,
and he
in
can hear
the
them.
Jim Carrey one, they're on a snowflake.
They're on a snow. That's kind of where that came from, because they're like on a little dandelion like flower
Mm-hmm.
in Horton Hears a Who in the
Mhm.
book,
Okay.
and that's Horton can hear them.
Right, yeah.
So I would have just imagined that they probably just from little thing to little thing.
Okay.
So depending on what the season and time of year is where they're planted, but they don't really notice that they're just forever floating off somewhere.
Right.
So
Like us.
yeah,
Forever
it's
floating
whatever.
off. Huh.
I think that's meant to never be thought about that deep.
Right, yeah, I know.
You're like, that's just like, you're overthinking this, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's how most of these
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Like, they're just,
This is, you have a lot of fucking time on
Oh,
your
yeah.
hands, my dude. But
Yeah.
okay. All right.
and that's why I don't have time to come up with stupid theories like this
Well, fair.
to create my own. I just find them on the internet and go from there. But yeah, that was my list. Do you have, did you find any more in your Reddit rabbit hole?
I did, and some of them were again like, you have far too much time on your hands. Okay, so this one is the Santa Claus was a coup, and the elves installed a puppet government.
Oh, okay.
So, it's basically Tim Allen finds himself becoming Santa. Old Santa is accidentally killed, falling off the roof, and it's highly suspect for a number of reasons. One, Santa and his elves rely on technology where most things seem magic. This technology is created to be so easy and automatic that it appears to be magic. The elves develop and control this, so they would likely have something in backup for worst case scenario of falling off the roof to
Mhm.
protect Santa. They monitor Santa 24/7. When Tim Allen's arrested, a group of elves fly in to the police station, punish the cops, free Santa. Again, shouldn't have fallen off the roof.
Right.
In the Santa Claus itself, it says that the wearer of the suit becomes Santa until unable to do so by accident or design.
Oh.
So it leads me to believe the elves were responsible for the other previous Santa's death, or as they say, the real Santa, but what's telling me who's the real Santa?
Right.
So, oh, this one was a little deep though. So if you look in the beginning of Elf when they're explaining about Buddy being the baby and they're in the orphanage and
I saw
the
this
bag,
one. Yeah.
and it has all the Christmas gifts still in it, and so they said it's meant for children that had unexpectedly passed away, which I was like, well, that's pretty
Yeah,
dark.
that's a
but
bummer.
I can see where you're going with. More for me, I was just like, his bag's always full. Like, it's not like Buddy was his last stop. And it was another Santa Claus one here that it was a planned suicide that Santa was
I
done
was gonna
being.
bring that up. Yeah.
Santa was just done being Santa, which whatever. This one was a little interesting that all of George Bailey's suffering in It's a Wonderful Life was by Mary's wish, because George asks her what your wish was, and she said no. And we, as the watcher, all can figure out that she's wishing to be with George Bailey for the rest of her life in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then it shows you, his brother is the one that ended up being successful because he stayed because his dad died, and that 3-ring circus, and ended up where he ended up. But I don't know. I think George Bailey is just a product of his own environment, especially for that time. Oh, this one, Home Alone, is the sequel to Black Christmas.
There we go.
Sure. I'm not even gonna read that one. We've discussed that one before. That Ebenezer Scrooge suffers from PTSD for living through the Napoleon years.
Right.
Sure. Even though apparently the person that Charles Dickens based Scrooge off of, who was one of the more wealthier citizens at that time in the UK, apparently was never known to be cross or mean. He just kind of based it that because apparently this guy did not spend his wealth on material items like he would never buy himself clothes or things like that. So that's kind of a fun little offset with Scrooge, that are a Christmas Carol, if you will. But the real Scrooge was actually not a mean person. I do like A Muppet Christmas Carol, by the way. That's another favorite of mine. Michael Caine treats Muppets as real actors.
Yeah, right.
You know, like
Yeah.
I think that's why it works so well. And it's like, oh, they're just real, true actors. So that's a little side note tangent. No, that one was stupid
No.
too. There's your Who's in Whoville are cannibals.
Yes.
Of course, there's the Christmas Carol ghosts or hallucinations, which is
Yeah.
very probable, but that's not, you know. Where was the one? There was a really good one. Oh, I think it was this one. Iris and Graham are planning to murder Amanda for her money in the holiday before he ends up falling in love with her.
Yeah, I
So-
saw that one on there, but I don't.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was like,
know if I ever watched that.
Well, and I don't buy it, but they were. It's a whole like they were going to scheme to kill her and blah blah blah. But there's nothing that like says exactly why. I'm trying to find the one, and you may have come across this one, but that it was about like the original Santa went to Hogwarts,
Yeah, I saw that too.
which I was like, that's really stupid.
Yeah,
Like-
that's why I didn't include it.
Yeah, like there was ones like that, and I'm like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
Like that
It has to do with
because they used
magic.
flu powder. Like,
Right.
okay, and go on. I think that Harry Potter's not the first ones to use flu powder,
No.
but yeah, and it's supposed to be Father Christmas because obviously not Scott Calvin. He clearly didn't go to Hogwarts, but it was like, you're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the elves are able to like, erase memories and stuff like that with their magic. So, yeah, I was like, that is stupid. There was one about Love Actually that I was like, no,
Yeah, I saw that too. That was on that list.
yeah.
And
But-
yeah, it was.
Those
dumb.
are really the ones that I kind of went down the hole, and I think I interjected enough to like of some of the other theories I found within the same movies we've discussed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I tried to get the more interesting ones, so they might not be the smartest, but
no,
a little
no,
more
but,
interesting than.
I mean, how far off on a theory can we get with Christmas movies? Truly,
Mhm.
there was one I saw. I'd almost have to try to find it again, but it was about a Christmas story. Now I almost want to try it again. It might have been this one, but it was something with Ralphie. And I was like, oh, this is the one. Oh, I knew it. Okay, this isn't the Christmas story.
Okay.
This is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and that Hermie is not an elf, but is Santa's son.
Oh.
And that, the theory is that Hermie is actually Santa and Mrs. Claus's rebellious son. Santa's crabby attitude is unusual in this film. Why is Santa so unhappy? It is because his son is not going along with the culture of the North Pole. Maybe he was training to be a great toy maker, and that is why the leader elf is so hard on him, because he was specifically hired to train him to be the next Santa. Another smaller thing is that Mrs. Claus always refers to Santa as Papa. I don't think many married couples call themselves Mama and Papa unless they have children. And we also see the theme of rebellious son throughout, as we see Rudolph also having father issues, and he regularly has his father telling him to be normal and to conform to everybody else. And a big one here is if you look at Hermie the elf, who wants to be a dentist, he does not look like the other elves at all. He does not have pointy ears. He does not have a big nose like the other male elves. But if you look at Santa, the ears and nose look exactly the same.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, that's
Confirmed.
yeah,
confirmed.
that's a really like, I enjoyed that theory. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, rebellious son. And then I think this is the one. There's the Hogwarts stupid thing. And then did you see the one with Elf that it looks like when the police are on horseback and they're chasing Buddy through Central Park,
Mm-hmm.
they say it's the Four Horsemen at the end of the world.
No, I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
like they're like, oh, they broke open the Seven Seals and the Four Horsemen start coming out. I'm like, okay, no,
It's so deep. For us to-
clearly not.
Christmas movie.
Clearly not. What was this one? Oh, wait. Oh, and then there's a quick one that's Cousin Eddie is actually a disenfranchised Vietnam War vet that people are like mocking and not taking serious because it's clear that he even says there's nothing between the ground and my government piece of plastic,
Yeah.
that he was clearly shot in the head in Vietnam, is
Yeah.
what they're saying. And then everybody just mocks him for his disability. I'm like, okay.
Huh.
Oh, and this is the one that was the Home Alone, didn't happen at all, or was basically
Yeah, his
fantasized by Kevin.
imagination.
But there's definitely one.
We can make one up right now.
Oh.
Cousin Eddie and Chop Top from Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Oh,
2
there you go.
are the same person.
Okay. I'll take
They
it.
both have metal plates in their head.
I'll take it.
There we go. Done.
Done. Oh, and then Hans Gruber never intended to leave all of his men alive in Die Hard because he had those detonators at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he's making a big deal about John McClane, and the more he accesses these detonators is because he was going to set them off and run away with everything by himself. And, at the end, it's never discussed, but I mean, it makes him seem devious. He's got one car to get in a lot more men than one car can fit. So he intended to kill his men and take it all. So
yeah, I mean, that's not too far-fetched.
No.
It's Hans Gruber.
Yeah.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes.
Yes.
The answer is
100%.
yes. Now I can't find the one I'm looking for A Christmas Story. Maybe it's in this one. I went through a couple rabbit holes, so it does happen.
Easy to do on Reddit.
Yeah, it is. And then you start typing in things and you're like, what the heck? What is going on here? Is it? There's Kevin's the Jigsaw.
Mm-hmm.
Santa Claus stages death in Santa Claus. Max is Unwanted. Oh, Gremlins is a conservative, how do you say this? Diatribe against imported project.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like,
basically
whatever.
just being like, oh, importing is bad. Like, shut up. Oh, okay. Ralphie actually shot his eye out in A Christmas Story.
Oh, yeah, I did see that one.
Yeah,
I didn't,
so, blah, blah, blah. But the one overarching narrative of A Christmas Story is Ralphie's obsession with the BB gun. And after being told throughout the movie he's going to shoot his eye out, that's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the pain, the Redditor adds, the pain, the tortured memories, and the bullying he received as a result eventually drove him deeply into alcohol and drug abuse. He's telling this story in a group therapy session at a rehab clinic. As morbid as it sounds, there's a lot of evidence to back it up. Whether it was his home life or his school life, the child always found himself in hostile environments, and a grown-up Ralphie tells the story in a voiceover, but it's never revealed who he's speaking with. I'm like, well, maybe he did turn into a one-eyed Willie from the Goonies.
But then the sequel came out, and
well, yeah, but this is pre-sequel that ever happened. So yeah, that was the one I was like, oh well, I mean, there's nothing telling you that maybe he did.
Right.
You don't know who he's talking about or who he's talking to, other than being a narrator. But like, okay, I could see it until the second one came out.
Right.
Well, not the second one, but the second one.
Yeah, the
Christmas Story
sequel.
2 doesn't exist in my mind.
No, fuck that.
Yes. Yeah, so there was the Hans Gruber one. Hans never meant for his crew to survive the roof explosion. That is why he freaks out when John McClane comes across the detonators. So, back to Die Hard. I just went across that one. Mm-hmm. And its theory stems from the fact that there wasn't enough room in the getaway van for everyone once all the money was loaded into it. Hans Gruber is already a nasty villain, and as he clearly has no value for human life after unnecessarily killing hostages, the theory is more than just plausible, which I could get behind that one. I'm like,
sense.
Yeah, you intended to be
That's
out.
The MO for many a villain.
You didn't give a shit about anybody helping
Right.
you. So that was it. That's all I got.
That's all you got.
That's the best I can do for you.
I came across a fun fact the other night, so I went with our buddy Jimmy to one of his shows, and at the bar they were playing Santa Claus, like the Tim
movie.
Allen, but it was like a marathon.
Oh, okay.
So I watched pretty much Santa Claus 2 and 3 while there.
Good for you.
But there's one of the kids that's in that movie. I was like, oh, like I recognize him, like, but where's he been? So he was in Obviously, Santa Claus 2 and 3. He was in.
He's not in the first one?
No.
Okay.
He's in The Kid, the Disney movie with Bruce Willis.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
I think he's the young Bruce Willis. He's also like the main boy in Cat in the Hat
Mm-hmm.
with Mike Myers.
Okay.
So it's this kid here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So he hasn't really been in much, but his name's Spencer Breslin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Breslin?
Yeah.
He's the brother of Abigail Breslin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
From,
I did know
Little
that.
Miss
I did know that.
Sunshine and Zombieland.
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah. I was like, well, oh, shit. Yeah.
He's the older brother.
Yeah. But yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah. I did know that, but I easily forgot about it. Well,
Yeah.
it's like, what's her face that played Cindy Lou in the live action? She's
Yeah. Taylor Momsen.
Yeah, that her.
Pretty Reckless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah. I mean, she's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was her real calling to begin with. I mean, she did sing her little Cindy Lou heart out when she was little too. But
True.
Yep.
Yep.
I think being on stage and still being a presence is very much like her MO, but she does better in the music industry than in the film industry. And I think she
I don't
found
know.
that.
Was she ever really in anything after?
Well, yeah, she was in Gossip Girl for years.
That's right. Yeah.
And when she left Gossip Girls, when she started Pretty Reckless, and has done that since then. Because I think that was just like the end. Like she was done.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Never
You
watched
started
Gossip
as
Girl,
kid
but
too. So.
Hell yeah.
Mm.
Any other Christmas
No.
fun and games?
No.
Wrap it up.
Wrap
Get on to
it
the
up.
real Christmas fun and games.
Yes, it's that time for the ice cream treat.
Ice cream treat.
And
Wrapping.
we got to find out where Santa is on our NORAD tracker and then put a good Christmas movie on. Maybe I'll put the Grinch on and go to bed so Santa Claus can come down our
Straight
chimbley.
to bed now.
Come down the chimbley.
Straight to bed. But yeah, I guess that's going to do it here for our holiday episode.
Yeah. Thanks for having me
Ooh.
on yet again.
Oh, yeah. Glad you can make the trip in.
Yeah, it was a tough commute. Tough commute.
But yeah, next week we're going to have a Tomoto V3 back in here for our best of 2023 horror movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Matt's coming back. But
I thought maybe we would have the other, what's his? Chew? What's his?
Bambino.
Yeah, because New Year's.
Oh, yeah. No, we're doing best of 2023 with Tomoto.
Okay.
It's scheduled. It's in the books.
I love it.
It's happening. Yes.
Anybody with the same name's welcome in the house.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We love them all.
But yeah, everyone out there, if you celebrate Christmas, have a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays for whatever you...
Yeah. Happy Yule. Happy Kwanzaa.
All of them.
Happy Hanukkah, even though Hanukkah's over.
Yeah.
But
Hope it was a good one.
yeah.
All
Happy
the,
holiday season.
all
Every
the things.
last one. If you don't celebrate anything, well, just happy.
Hope you had a great day.
Happy to you.
Happy, joy.
Yes.
But yeah, that'll do it for another episode of Blood, Gore, and Ghouls. Be sure to follow us on all social media. All those links can be found in the show notes. But until next week, I've been Ian Van Gogh.
And
you've
I'm
been
just Mrs. Goal.
Mrs. Ghoul.
Get over here.
That's
Maybe
right.
I'll be here for Valentine's special.
Yeah.
Next.
Figured like, most holidays.
Yeah. Except for next
Show
week.
up.
Forget about it.
No.
I'll be too
You're
busy
not
drinking.
invited.
Champagne.
Champagne.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Again, happy holidays.
Talk to
Have
you
a
next year.
ghoulish week. And you all stay safe out there.
Bye.